I created a calculator, and I want to just share with you guys some of the examples, how you could use this calculator to your benefit. And for those next, especially for upgraders, it's very, very important to understand CPF accrued interest and how it works. Honestly, it scares me how little people understand CPF accrued interest, because the matter of fact is that with all these cooling measures in place, the property prices in general will not increase like how it used to increase. Last time, the older generation, they never had to care about CPF accrued interest because their properties are doubling every 10 years, right? 50,000, 70,000 HDB become 400,000 today. It beats the CPF interest rate, so they don't need to really take the time to understand CPF accrued interest. But in today's market, it's very, very important for all of us, the participants in the property market, to understand how CPF accrued interest works and how that's going to impact your property. And for that, right, I've talked about it so much, but today, especially because this episode is catered to upgraders, I created a calculator, and I want to just share with you guys some of the examples, how you could use this calculator to your benefit. And for those of you who want to have this calculator and play around it on your own, right, you can comment in YouTube, comment in Facebook, comment in Instagram. No, Instagram is off already. Comment in YouTube and Facebook, and we'll send it to you, or just drop me a text for those of you who are already in contact with me. Let's jump to that and give you guys an example. Okay, and that has to jump to Chroma. Numbers. All right. Okay. So this is a example, right? I've put it into a Excel sheet lah. Okay. So over here, you see loan interest rate. I plugged it at 2%. I'm assuming a person is taking a 30-year loan lah, right? With CPF accrued interest at 2.5%. I'm assuming a capital appreciation of 1%, right? You can change this if you want to change to 2%, right? And that changes the increment lah, over the years, right, up to you are 70 years old. So I'm assuming the person buys a property at $1 million at 35 years old, taking a 75% loan, assuming you only put in the minimum cash that you need at $50,000, and the rest you pay with CPF. How is that going to work out for you in terms of your cash proceeds moving forward? So you see, if your property can appreciate at 2%, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. You will always have cash proceeds regardless of whenever you sell, right? Okay, but if your property were to only increase at a rate of 1% per annum, okay, notice how in 10 years time, in 15 years time, when you're 50 years old, you go into this thing called a negative sale. What does a negative sale mean? A negative sale means that if you sell your property at 1.16 million, right, after returning the balance outstanding loan and after returning the CPF refund, the cash proceed is negative, right? While you don't have to fork out cash to top up this differential, it just means that when you sell your house, you got no money coming out, right? Why do I show this as an example, and why do I feel everybody needs to understand this? Because a lot of upgraders, especially for the upgraders that are upgrading for the need for space, for location, for schools, for example, right? They tend to tell me that capital appreciation is not critical, it's not important, and I agree. Right, because not everybody needs to go out and fight and hunt for capital appreciation, and that's totally fine. But you have to be aware of this and then learn the techniques or plan for the eventuality that you go into a negative sale, because this forms part of your entire portfolio. Because I've had cases whereby clients come to me and say, hey, Alvin, I have to sell my property because I'm in need of cash. So just 5 years back when I first entered the industry and I did the calculation, most of the time, they'll still be able to get some cash out because the CPF hasn't been sitting in the property for long. But I had cases whereby I did the calculation out and they are sitting on like $100,000 to $200,000 negative sale. So what that means is, number one, opportunity cost lost, because this money, that negative $200,000, it's a lot of the people will just brush it off as, that's fine, right? I don't have to pay it. But you got to think of it as opportunity cost lost, and also the fact that you're going to continue to have to pay the mortgage for your property without ever being able to see a single cent of it coming back out to you in cash, unless of course after 65 years old you have to give back all to retirement account, the balance of which you can take out in cash. But all in all, it's just a terrible situation to be in lah. So if you need to upgrade for size and you don't not really focus on capital appreciation, my recommendation is you still have to be aware of this and then learn how to navigate this CPF accrued interest part lah. Because if you are going to be buying a resale HDB, for example, right, you need to accept the fact that that resale HDB probably isn't going to appreciate by much, hence giving you a high chance of putting yourself into a negative sale. How do you then navigate out of it moving forward? Okay, you got to figure these kind of things out. So the whole idea is go in with your eyes wide open, because of course we have clients also buy, right, sell HDB, buy HDB, and that's totally fine. But every year, touch base, right, do out this calculation. If you're going to go into a negative sale, use less CPF, use more cash. Or if it's really going to be a negative sale, what can you do, right? What are your alternatives, right? You can no longer look at your property as a holder of cash, right? It is a roof over your head, right? Your CPF that is stuck inside there already, the only way you're going to get that out is after 65 years old. Then maybe utilize that to downsize into a smaller property, right? Very, very limited in terms of the options that you will have once you go into negative sale. So be careful, right? Yeah, okay. I don't want to dwell on that too much because it's going to be pretty scary and pretty sad. So let's move on, right? So again, if you want to have this calculator to key in your own things and play around with it, drop me a text, put in a comment. We'll send it over to you. Let's come back to the slide, right? Accrued interest, something very important for you to know. Press the wrong thing.